Buckle up, gang. This one's going to be a doozy. Lightblade is considered the hardest Grandmaster in the game by a large portion of the community. That being said, I'm iYogurt, and today I'm going to give you and your team the tools you need to get through this strike with ease. Before we load into the strike, let's go over what classes and subclasses we'll be bringing in. My team brought in 2 Titans, both using the Heart of Inmost Light and Storm Grenade build, and an Omnioculus Hunter. Our Titans are going to be doing a bulk of the ad clear and damage by leaning heavily on their Storm Grenade crutch. For our Hunter, you're going to be getting revives and finishers as needed, as well as helping us sneak past enemies during some more difficult sections of the strike. If you're a Warlock, I'm going to suggest a Stasis Turret build with either Ozymancy Gloves, or if your team is having issues with ammo, Aeon Soul Gauntlets. Some decent alternatives would be bringing Graviton Forfeit for the more selfish Hunter, Curse of the Falling Star so Thundercrash will one-shot champions, or Stag Warlock on Well of Radiance for some extra damage resist. No matter what class or build your squad goes with, everyone should try to get 100 resilience and put on resist mods like Thermoshock Plating and Concussive Dampener on your chest piece. This will give you huge amounts of damage resist, which can save you from several things in this strike. For weapons, we're going to need to deal with Barrier and Unstoppable champions, as well as both Solar and Arc shields. We should also look to take advantage of the acute arc burn as much as possible. All 3 members of my team ended up running more or less the same loadout in Arbalist, an Arc Pulse, and Storm Chaser. Other good options here would be the Hothead Rocket Launcher and Galahorn, the new Seasonal Scout Tarnished Metal, especially if it has Volt Shot, and any decently rolled Blinding GL just to help for survivability. Once you're in the Nightfall, you're going to load into a courtyard where the boss of the Nightfall, a la Cool, will be waiting towards the back. Pump some damage into him till he pees himself a little and runs away. Afterwards, have your Hunter run past all the enemies while spamming Invis to the next area. Doing so will despawn everything in the courtyard, including the 2 Barrier Knights. It's important to note that despawning these Knights will not ruin your Platinum rank. After the rest of your team catches up to your Hunter, you'll come into one of the hardest areas in the activity. Here there will be several waves of ads and Lucent Hive that spawn all around the room. We're going to start off by breaking the Wizard Solar Shield with Arbalist and throwing some Storm Nades. Once everyone is actually in the room, find, call out, and kill one of the Barrier champions. Repeat this process for the other Barrier champion before focusing on the Lucent Knight. While you're doing this, it's important to pay attention to how many red bar ads are still in the room. If too many of them die, a second Lucent Knight will spawn by the door where you came into the room. If he spawns before you kill the champs and first knight, retreat back through the entrance and turn to focus him down before proceeding back into the room, continuing the fight. One more Lucent Knight will spawn in the middle of the room, along with some beefy sword-wielding knights. Kill them before proceeding on. Next, you'll come across a Hive Fairy that is guarded by a Barrier Knight on either side. These guys are easy enough to deal with, so split up and take them out. If you're running Aeon Gauntlets, these guys are prime targets for some quick, heavy finishers. Also, if this guide is helping you out, be sure and drop a like down below, as it would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Once the fairy starts moving, start by killing the ads on either side of the canal, and then focus down the Shrieker as soon as it opens up. Here, if it gets dicey, jump off to the platforms on the side for some extra cover as needed. When the fairy comes to a stop, break off to one side to kill the Lucent Hive at the top of the first staircase. Be extra careful here, as one well-placed shield throw or suppression grenade from either of these guys can one-shot. Once one of them has been dealt with, grab the void charge from the top platform and deposit it back at the bottom. Repeat this for the other side to clear the path. For this next section of the ride, if you have an Omni Hunter, spam Invis so your team can just casually ride past all the enemies and they'll barely notice you. Otherwise, jump off the ferry at the first bridge, then slowly clear your way through the canal into the portal, which will open once you're on the last bridge. Once in the room after the waterfall/portal, the ferry will stop again to allow some thrall on board. You can either bully these guys with ability spam, or hop off to a platform as the thrall won't follow you off the ferry. Either way, be sure to collect their lunch money before continuing on. In the swamp, you'll be teleported back in time to the start of the Crota's End raid. For people who don't know what I mean by this, you'll notice you'll start getting a debuff on the side of your screen called Weight of Darkness. This will slow you down as screebs and moths chase you down. The options to get through this are A. Be a Chad and get amplified so you can book it to the end of the swamp. If you do this, only slow down momentarily to cleanse a few of the stacks of darkness off at each of the totems before continuing. B. And the safer option, have your hunter spam invis again to avoid all the enemies and slowly creep your way through the swamp. Either way, be sure to watch out for moths as they'll kill you with little to no remorse. After one member gets to the end of the swamp, all stacks of darkness will fall off everyone and you can continue. Your team will immediately come to a cave with an unstoppable champion and some scorned Ravagers. Kill the Ravagers as they rush you before you stun the champ and kill him. Just past him is another set of ads that are deceivingly difficult to take out if you're not careful. Just throw a nade or two and pick them off as you continue upwards. At the end of the cave, you'll find yourself overlooking a battle between the Hive and Scorn. Here, make sure to shoot the unstoppable abomination first before the Hive take him out. Failing to do so might ruin your platinum ranking. Next, scare off Alacool again, then deal with the Shriekers if they're open. Then, turn the battlefield below into an artillery field as you chuck nades to let them deal with the enemies indiscriminately. While doing this, just be aware that some enemies can jump up to your perch. They're normally pretty easy to deal with, just know that it can happen. Once most of the trash is cleared out, jump down to clean up what's left. After winning the battle you crash, fall into the boss room where the biggest challenge awaits. Alacool didn't take too kindly to you embarrassing him in front of his homies, and he's not afraid to take out some of that aggression here. He's going to spawn on the middle platform while normal and cursed thralls spawn around the lower level. You can kite him by jumping back and forth between where he spawned in and the outer balcony. Doing so should prevent him from shooting his range attack, which absolutely wrecks if you get caught off guard by it. There is a small chance, however, that he'll just decide to shoot his attack anyways, but it's pretty rare. While he's in the cycle of chasing you, throw storm nades and deal damage until he gets to 2/3 HP. At this point, he's going to get tuckered out and call in some friends to distract you. Among them is a Lucent Knight that should be dealt with immediately. Shoot a Tether and a Thunder Crash, or a few Storm Chaser shots to make quick work of him. His other friends are some more sword-wielding knights, and they are much easier to take out. After the last one of these three is dead, the boss will get back up and spawn in 2 barrier champs. Immediately, one of the titans needs to grab the boss's aggro and try and get him back in the stun cycle, while the other 2 focus down the barriers one at a time. This is the part you are most likely to fail, as if the boss swaps aggro or the person distracting him dies, it turns into a mess really fast. This is why I recommend having one of the titans grab the aggro. If he dies, then the hunter can make himself and the other titan invis until you can grab the res. After you grab the res, this will reset the flow of the fight and you can continue on. After the first set of champs are dealt with, you can start damaging the boss again. He'll spawn in another set of champs at the halfway mark before taking another break at 1/3. Here, another set of knights will spawn in, which can be dealt with. This time, however, the knights won't spawn in immediately, but instead at 25% HP. Once they're out of the way, kill Alacool to finish the nightfall. With this strike and the glass out of the way, it is downhill towards that Conquer title. If this guide helped you, please like and share this video with someone else who may need it. Be sure to subscribe so you see when I post more guides and videos. And until then, I look forward to seeing you about the tower. Peace.